Hey, everybody, and welcome back to For the Booze.
For the booze.
For the Booze.
So we're back, sort of. We don't actually have our stuff, but we're kind of making it work this week.
We are here. We are getting settled without our things, unfortunately.
Hopefully they'll be here soon, because if they don't, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah, we've been kind of dragged around by the moving company, and yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, so if you hear some stuff, we're literally sitting in bar stools recording this on a $15 microphone that we got just so we could do the show, because we missed it.
We did. We absolutely missed it. We miss you guys. We miss doing our episodes and, just doing our thing.
It feels really odd to do this without our headphones.
It does. It's
We
weird.
are super close to each other. We haven't been this close in years. Okay. So we do have listener stories, but I was going to read one today, but I think I want to save them to where we have all of our stuff, and that can make it sound a little better because they're really good. So Ben, Joe, and now I got one from my sister. So we'll get all those coming. I'm hoping by next week. I'm hoping that's when our stuff comes in. So we just everybody, I pray or hope or throw a penny into a wishing well. I don't care what you do.
Good vibes. Good vibes.
God. But anyways, since we have moved to Utah, that's right. If you're new to the show, we went from Florida to Utah. If you don't know why, visit Florida.
Yeah. So much better here. We absolutely love it here. It has been super awesome. We made a 2,400 plus mile journey across the country. Super great trip. We had so much fun seeing all kinds of things that we had never seen before.
Oh yeah. Now we're seeing waterfalls and we're doing mountain hiking, and we're just being the most non-Floridians you could think of.
Yes, we are taking full advantage of it.
So with that being said, now that we're in Utah, we decided to, for maybe like the first month or so of the show being out of Utah now, that we would focus on Utah locations. And this week, we're going to start off with one that some of you may be familiar with because it was on a television show by a Mr. Zach Frodo Baggins, and we are going to head up to Tooele, Utah to visit
the Tooele Hospital.
That's right. It's a hospital that is serving a dual purpose right now. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this one because it's a pretty interesting one.
All right, let's do it.
Today's story takes place in Tooele, Utah, a city located in Tooele County in the U.S. The population was 35,742 at the time of the 2020 census. It is the county seat of Tooele County, located approximately 30 minutes southwest of Salt Lake City, and it is best known for the Tooele Army Depot, for its views of the nearby Oquirrh Mountains and the Great Salt Lake. The Great Salt Lake Desert covers most of western Tooele, except the southwest corner, where the Deep Creek Mountains rise up. Archaeologist Jesse Jennings excavated a cave near Wendover called Danger Cave. In the layers of dirt in Danger Cave, he found interesting artifacts such as fabric, human coprolites, also known as feces, leather scraps, nets and twine, basket fragments, and bone and wood tools such as knives, weapons, and millstones. His crew also found 68 plant species that still grow today within 10 miles of the cave, and the bones of many species of animals. Jennings had many artifacts dated using the carbon-14 method. The age of the oldest material, more than 11,000 years, surprised everyone. It turned out that Danger Cave was one of the oldest sites inhabited by humans in North America. Now, radiocarbon dating, or carbon-14 dating, is a scientific method that can accurately determine the age of organic materials as old as approximately 60,000 years. It was first developed in the late 1940s at the University of Chicago by Willard Libby, and the technique is based on the decay of the carbon-14 isotope. The archaic people who used the cave lived in small groups of 30 members. They wandered during the year, spending their time finding and processing different foods. Later, the Fremont culture lived in the area and would also use Danger Cave. Later came the Goshutes. The Goshute Indians used the desert plains and animals in indigenous ways and thrived in Utah before Euro-Americans came to the state. Today, the Goshute people still thrive in the area, living in Skull Valley as part of the Skull Valley Band of Goshute, and in Ibapa as part of the Confederate Tribes of the Goshute. Tooele, as it was originally spelled, was one of 6 original counties the legislature created in January 1850. But the legislature changed its boundaries several times. Today, it is the state's second largest county. The Mormons herded livestock in Tooele Valley before settlers came to stay in 1849. The early settlers farmed, growing hay and grain. They built grist mills and even sawmills. They would produce salt, charcoal, lime, adobe bricks, and even woolen products. Large sheep and cattle herds grazed all over the valley. Between the 1860s all the way up until World War II, mining and smelting became the country's strongest economic factor. The Rush Valley Mining District, organized in 1864 by soldiers from Fort Douglas, included all of the western Oquirrh Mountains. During the first year, prospectors located more than 500 mining claims. Ophir and Mercer became the most important mining towns. Ophir boomed in the 1870s with about 6,000 people. Its mines produced millions of dollars in silver, lead, zinc, and gold. Mercer endured several boom and bust cycles and 2 major fires. At one time, it had a population of around 10,000, and its citizens thought they might even replace Tooele City as the county seat. Today, Mercer no longer exists, and only a few people live in Ophir. In 1910, the International Smelting and Refining Company built a smelter east of Tooele City. For some 60 years, the smelter processed ore carried by aerial tramway from the Bingham mine. Many immigrants came to work at the plant, making Tooele more diverse. The Tooele Valley Railroad, completed in 1909, served the smelter and created more jobs for the community. June 26, 1902, a fire destroyed Mercer, but it was quickly rebuilt. Fire was a common threat in most mining towns who were constructed of mostly cheap lumber. During World War II, the U.S. government built several military installations in Tooele County. These brought many people into the county and millions of dollars into the local economy. The Wendover Air Base near the Nevada border became an important site for bomber training. It had almost 20,000 military and civilian personnel. The crew that dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima trained here. Tooele Ordnance Depot, now called the Tooele Army Depot, or TAD, built in 1942 on a huge tract of land south of Tooele City, served as a major supply, storage, and repair center. 2,000 people worked there in 1944. Many worked there also during the Korean and Vietnam Wars. A missile test range became an important place in developing new missiles. The Dugway Proving Grounds was built in the 1940s as a place to test chemical and biological weapons. In the 1970s, a large number of sheep in the area were killed, presumably from a mistake in the testing. Old Tooele Hospital's history began in 1873. This was the time of gold rushes, miners, summer heat, and desert dust. The original hospital was built as a residence by Samuel F. Lee, and it was converted into a residence for the elderly in 1913 and was known as the, quote, county poorhouse. Later, it became the Tooele Hospital and then reverted back again to an elderly care facility when the new hospital was constructed in 1953. The original building no longer stands, but the amount of hauntings that are reported from the new structure, you begin to understand just how haunted the land can actually be. The old hospital started as a private residence for Samuel F. Lee and his family. Over time, the face of the building would change, ranging from a poorhouse to a public hospital. As the population of Tooele and Utah itself began to grow, residents and administrators noticed that the building could be used for much more, and it soon became the Tooele Hospital. The hospital opened in 1953, but never received enough funding. Tooele Hospital didn't even have a morgue for their dead. Their solution? They would stack bodies in an unrefrigerated room until the county coroner finally came to sign their name on the death certificates. The new building was built in 1953 and was originally known as the Tooele Army Depot. Minor adjustments were made to the building to ensure that it would be able to provide medical care to residents in need. At one point, it was hailed as a state-of-the-art facility. These days, half of the newer constructed buildings operate as a senior living facility. The other half operates as Asylum 49. Darker still, the Tooele County Cemetery is adjacent to the new building, a stark reminder for the elderly residents who live there, and a possible reason for the ghostly activity that is reported to this day. The Old Tooele Hospital site is the location of many acclaimed hauntings as well as the backdrop for various Hollywood hits. The Fastest Indian, the true story of Burt Monroe, was filmed here, as well as the Stephen King post-apocalyptic fantasy, The Stand. In 2006, a man named Kim Anderson saw the building and wanted to create a new haunted attraction for the community during the Halloween season. He originally had a tough time accepting the stories of hauntings in the building and was a stark skeptic. However, after spending countless hours in the building, getting the place ready for the public, he quickly emerged as a believer. But who or what could be the cause of the reports of unexplained activity at the Old Tooele Hospital site? Could it be the demolition and following construction of the new building that could have stirred up some of the area's lingering spirits? Maybe it's the present use of the building as a tourist attraction that has gotten on the bad side of some of the resident spirits. Nobody really knows for sure why this place has become so haunted over the years, but it is a question that many have asked and have never received an answer to. Ghost hunting groups have even turned up on its doorstep to find answers for themselves, but have walked away empty-handed. And maybe we'll never know. But if you're brave enough, you can go visit on Halloween to the Asylum 49 haunted house and possibly get more than you've bargained for.
Man, we might just have to go check that out.
This place is pretty creepy. I forgot. I remember when we watched the Ghost Adventures episode of this. I forgot the whole thing about them not having a place for the dead bodies, and they would just stack them in a room.
I don't really remember this at all.
But you don't remember yesterday, so that's not surprising.
Yeah, that's true.
But there is this place supposedly is extremely haunted, and from what I can tell, we don't live very far from this place. Like, we're close.
Man, that would be super cool. And as for the history, I don't know about not having a morgue and going about taking care of people after they die that way.
Well, I think what's even crazier is the fact that they have I don't want to give it away, but there's a haunted attraction on one side and a senior care facility on the other side, all in the same building.
Yeah, that's a little weird. Yeah.
It's very strange. So there is a bit more to this that you're going to get to read, but I think, of course, we are going to have to take an ad break first.
Dating back to 1873, the hospital was built as a private residence. By 1913, it had been transformed into a home for the elderly, what was often called the county poorhouse. Haunting reports here include shadowy figures, mists, apparitions, orbs, and even a spiritual portal. One of the ghosts that reside here is believed to be a former patient named Wes, who suffered from Alzheimer's. Other spirits here include Peter, Ned, Richard, James, and a child named Jessica. The original builder, Samuel, is also said to linger here in spirit, sometimes accompanied by his young son Thomas. In the year 2006, a man by the name of Kim Anderson decided to create Asylum 49 as an attraction for the youth and other members of the community for Halloween. This attraction is a haunted house that is very popular in the area. Anderson reportedly had a difficult time accepting stories and events that surrounded the paranormal. However, it is claimed that after spending quite a bit of time researching the Old Tooele Hospital, he quickly emerged as a believer, and that it appeared that the structure had a unique share of paranormal activity. His wife eventually contacted a man by the name of Troy Wood and an organization of paranormal researchers referred to as the Utah Ghost Organization, or UGO, and an investigation was conducted in the year 2007. What the Utah Ghost Organization discovered while conducting their full paranormal investigation was absolutely amazing to them, the employees, as well as the locals. Thousands of EVPs were documented during the investigation, and pictures and videos were also identified that are said to contain various types of shadows, apparent apparitions, mists, different types of orbs, and several other unidentified occurrences. It is also important to note that a spiritual portal is believed to exist at the Old Tooele Hospital. It is also claimed that a nurse by the name of Maria is believed to guard the portal. They say the spiritual portal contains a very bright light in which the deceased are highly attracted to. They claim individuals that have died while being cared for in their old age often go towards the light, believing this is their portal to the peaceful afterlife. However, Maria informs them on the other side that this is not the area that they should go to. It is claimed that a patient by the name of Wes haunts the structure. He passed away and seems to be a bit confused and even a little scared. He had Alzheimer's disease at the time of his death, and it is believed that the confusion from this condition continues to burden him even in death. They say he is known to stay in the room that he was assigned to in life, as well as the hallway just outside of his room. A medium who came into the hospital and attempted to assist him in crossing over as he should in the afterlife, but with no success. She discovered that there is an entity that stays very close to him when he is in the hallway, and the entity is described as being very dark. There are other apparitions that are believed to be lingering in the hospital. First is a nurse in white that is said to roam the hospital hallways. Patients have even claimed that they have seen this nurse. When other nurses have come in to help patients, they say that the nurse in white had already been in to visit them. The thing is, none of the nurses that work there wear white, meaning there is no nurse in white. Another spirit they claim to be residing in Old Tooele Hospital is that of Samuel F. Lee himself. A medium revealed that his soul is tied to his old property because his son Thomas died there when he was 6 or 8 years old. While Samuel doesn't usually respond to guests, his son seems to enjoy playing pranks on the living when he gets the chance. He was even seen in several photos clicked near the place he once called his home. Yet another spirit is a man in black that manifests around 3 a.m. The man is said to be quite terrifying. Yet another apparition is that of a little girl. It is believed she could be the apparition of one of the children that would show up when someone is about to die. The little girl has made an appearance during the Halloween haunted house as well. Visitors have even claimed that this girl follows them through the maze and then just disappears. Many claim there is an interesting pattern to the Old Tooele Hospital. The hospital has a reputation for the number 3. It is said that the patients that are in the active wing of the hospital pass away in groups of 3s. When one person dies, 2 more can almost always be expected to follow in a short time. The man in black, who appears at 3 a.m., is just another link the hospital has to the number 3. The number 3 is also claimed to be a supposedly demonic number in nature. It is used as a mocking to the Holy Trinity. They say that it's how demons communicate with the living. Notice how the number of the devil is 666 as well, a 3-figure number, and the same number used 3 times. An exorcism has also taken place at the hospital during a paranormal investigation. They say the exorcism was actually successful. The infamous man in black was once seen walking into a patient's room and locking the door. The nurses called maintenance to come in and remove the door, and when the door was removed, the nurses rushed in and found the patient had passed away. Poltergeist activity has also been reported in room 6 of the abandoned hospital. Of course, somebody wrote the number 666 on the door just to make the room appear more welcoming. There has also been reports of scratches taking place in the room as well. Kim and Cammie Anderson and their niece and nephew, Dusty and Lyle Kingston, own Asylum 49. They claim there is a duality to Asylum 49 as a site for paranormal investigation tours of the building in the fall, and also as a haunted attraction. The paranormal investigations are for the curious, and the real fear comes from the haunted attraction. It's one of Utah's few full-contact haunted attractions. Participants even have to sign a waiver to allow themselves to be touched by the cast of Asylum 49. Quote,
"You will be touched, maybe carried off by the doctors, and maybe separated from your group,"
says Cammie.
"It is very intense and not recommended for children, adults who don't like being scared, pregnant women, or physically or mentally impaired individuals. Come prepared to be scared and have fun with it. Full contact isn't for everyone, so if you can't handle the intensity, we would rather you not come."
End quote. At first, nobody was aware that the hospital was haunted.
Quote, "Until we started experiencing strange and unexplained things like objects moving from one place to another, voices, and other sounds being heard when no one else was in the building."
End quote, says Cammie. With all those paranormal experiences, an investigation team would come to explore the property. After multiple investigations, they deemed the hospital to be haunted. Quote,
"With a staggering amount of evidence,"
end quote, she went on to say. The owners of Asylum 49 felt that it was important for others to experience the paranormal for themselves, so they began the ghost tours the season after they opened the Asylum 49 haunted attraction. She says there are two different experiences for the ghost tours. There are public tours, which she says are more geared for the entertainment factor, including a tour of the hospital for the curious or novice of paranormal investigations. For more seasoned researchers, there are the private tours. Tours go from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m., or there is also an overnight experience from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. As to why she thinks that the hospital may be haunted, she says, quote,
"It's unclear why hauntings occur, though there are many theories. As for the hospital, it's obviously a place where a lot of people have passed away. We are also right next door to the town cemetery. Another theory is that we frequently have people coming for the express purpose of talking to the spirits. I believe that they enjoy the conversation and the recognition that they are here, especially in a world where it's unpopular to believe in their existence."
End quote. Asylum 49, or the Old Tooele Hospital, set around the beautiful mountains of Utah, and half of it is still an active hospital to this day. However, there's nothing pretty about the inside of Tooele Hospital. Many believe the other half of the hospital, which is used for senior citizens, could be fueling the condemned wing of the hospital, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down any time soon.
We'll have to personally thank everybody who's lighting off fireworks this evening, because we're just so close to July 4th, which we're really not. We're recording this almost into August, so.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's basically like Utah's Independence Day, like coming up soon. So it's called Pioneer Days.
Nope, it's called Fiesta Days.
Well, then what are Pioneer Days?
I don't know. But,
I don't know.
But the signs around town say Fiesta Days.
I don't know.
We're learning.
We are.
But there's a lot going on there. I find it very strange that they have a full contact haunted house in the same building as a senior care facility, but whatever works, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. And I changed my mind. We aren't going to go. I don't want to do the whole full contact thing.
We don't have to. We could just go do the ghost tour, which is not the haunted house.
I know, but the haunted house sounds fun until they, start trying to put their hands on you and stuff.
You won't even watch a scary movie with me.
Exactly.
But you want to go to a haunted house. But I really wish that we had all of our stuff. I would love to play some of these EVPs, so we're going to have to in a future episode. Maybe we'll do like something longer just so we can shoehorn in some EVPs, but tonight that's just not going to happen.
It's not. And this isn't our normal podcast, like we've said. But we missed doing this, and we definitely wanted to kick off some Utah locations.
Yeah, we've got a few more in mind, so we'll have some coming up. But anyways, we have to get to the whole purpose of the show, I think.
Of this show?
Yes, the show. And I don't even have my sound effect. I'm so bummed out. So here we go. Is it real? And since I'm actually asking it, I guess, do you think this place is real?
Yeah, I think this place is real. However, I think I'm probably going to err on the side of like a 50-50. I feel like there's definitely the possibility for a lot to go on here, but I would definitely want to dig in more into some evidence and stuff to really get a feel for this place. But like I said, stacking up bodies, definitely probably going to be leaning on the side of some spirits lingering. So, what about you?
I have to agree. I think there's something haunting going on here, and I think it is because people's dead bodies were left in rooms for long periods of time until somebody came in to do it. So, yeah, I think it's 100% haunted. I think something really is going on here, and I guess this place is struggling. So if you're into the whole full contact, like, haunted house thing, go patronize it. Go down there and give them your money and let them touch you. That sounds bad.
Yeah, no. So, if you guys want to help this place out, go ahead and around Halloween time, take a trip. And if you like that kind of thing, definitely go help them out.
Or you can go do one of the tours. But anyways, so that means that this place is going to get
the big old seal of approval.
And that's going to about wrap this one up. I'm sorry we couldn't do more. We are waiting for all of our studio equipment to get here, and we do have a studio laid out in the basement, but we can't do anything with it yet until all of our stuff gets here. But by the next episode, we're guessing by the contract, their time is up by then. So,
well, thank you, everybody. And thank you for coming back and listening. We definitely missed having you guys around and doing this. It was a little weird, a little awkward doing it this way. It's not our norm.
Super weird.
Yeah, it's really weird. But I hope it doesn't come across that way. And if it does, whoops. But we missed you guys.
Well, and if you haven't been able to tell, we're using one microphone that we're just kind of flopping back and forth. But what we do got to get to before we leave is, where can they find us?
They can find us on Instagram at forthebooze_podcast and on Facebook at forthebooze.
You can also find us on Twitter at forthebooze and on YouTube, of course, at forthebooze, and also on TikTok at forthebooze. Actually, I have to check. It might be forthebooze_podcast too. Just check either one. You'll see our little logo there. It'll be there. So reach out to us, of course, send in your listener stories and all that stuff, and maybe, I don't know, watch our videos on TikTok so they blow up. That would be great. But we will be back next week with a regular episode. If I have to track this truck down myself and steal it, we're coming back. So I guess that's it.
Yes, I guess that is it. So, thank you everybody so much for listening, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.